What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Eddie Life Podcast, episode number 268. I am here with Karol Schembri. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your invite.
Oh, no,
Really
of
happy
course.
to be here.
You guys are awesome, man. I'm just so happy to have you here. And you've got a great story, so I'm happy to share it. Yes, I appreciate it.
That's
Yeah.
good.
So let's start from the beginning. Maybe you can tell me originally, I know you started modeling from a young age,
Yeah.
but maybe you can tell me
The reason why?
why you started to model.
Sure.
Yeah.
So actually, I was a very active child.
Okay.
I was doing ballet since I was like 4.
Okay.
And then at 6, my dad had like a financial situation
Okay.
that was not really good, so he had to like cut out expenses.
Sure.
And I stopped for like maybe a year, not even a year, I think. And then I didn't want to go back to ballet because I thought that was a bit boring for me at that
Sure.
age.
Okay.
So I went to gymnastics. And I really loved doing it.
Okay.
I loved it.
Okay.
Loved it. I was in love with it. I was like, okay, I'm going to be an Olympic
Yeah,
gymnastic.
everybody. Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I really
yeah.
wanted to do it.
Okay.
And we were training really hard, and I remember I was training for a competition,
Okay.
and I got hurt my back. I was like 7 years old,
Okay.
maybe 6
Okay.
or
Sure.
7.
Wow.
And I was just feeling a lot of pain on my back, but I wasn't sure like if it was something that I got hurt or if
Okay.
it was something that it was already on my body.
Okay. It's scary when you're little, right? You're like, what's going on?
And it's
yeah.
scarier because I remember my parents would say like maybe you were not gonna be able to compete,
Okay.
and that
sure.
was really hard for me because I really wanted to do it.
It's the
so
dream, yeah.
So we did the competition. We won. I remember we as a group we won, and I also won something. I don't remember exactly because I was like too young, but we did like pretty great.
Okay.
And then we went and checked, and I had an actual problem on my back.
Okay.
So scoliosis, I think it's
Oh,
scoliosis.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
something
I'm
like
not
that.
sure what it is,
Yeah.
but I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's not
Oh,
straight. It
this-
goes like to one
Okay.
side. So I really wanted to keep training, but it was not possible because I had a lot of pain during
Sure.
the
Yeah.
training.
Yeah.
And also, then one day, I was feeling very upset because of the whole situation.
Sure.
And I remember my dad came up to me. I was about 8 years old, maybe. Yeah, I think I was already 8 years old.
Yeah.
And my dad was reading the papers on a Sunday morning. And he told me like, okay, do you know what a model is?
Okay.
I said, yeah, Gisele, right?
Okay.
Everyone knows Gisele
Everybody
in
knows.
Brazil.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, yeah, I know her, And he said like, but do you know what it means to be a model? I said, I don't really know, So he talked to me
Just
like,
dress pretty, look good.
Yeah,
Okay.
runway and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then he told me a little bit, and he was like, oh, I'm asking you because I just saw on the papers that there is a pageant, something
Okay.
like this, and I'm asking if you want to try. And I said like, okay, sure. I didn't even know like what I was going into.
Sure, okay.
I had no idea. Like 8 years old, who knows?
Yeah, of course, 8 years
It
old.
wasn't a dream, on mine.
Okay.
So we went.
I'm going to pull that
and-
picture up really quick because that's such a great picture. It's so cute. Yeah, that's such a great picture. Yeah.
It's so
that's probably
cute.
around the right age, right?
Yeah, that's like 5
Oh,
years
okay,
old,
well,
4
there
or
you
5
go.
years old. That's
So
you can
cute.
see I'm wearing the ballet,
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
clothes.
Oh, so cute.
so I loved it. It's so
yeah,
cute.
That's a good picture. Okay. I don't want to cut you off, but go
Yeah.
ahead. Yeah. Okay.
So I remember we went and I won the first pageant.
Amazing. Yeah.
And I was very insecure about my teeth at the time.
Okay.
And I remember I would smile without showing my teeth. Because I have big teeth, as you can see, especially the first two.
Looks fine to me.
Yeah,
Okay.
but at the time it wasn't like now. It's nice to have big teeth,
Big teeth,
Yeah, but
okay.
at the time it wasn't, and also because I didn't correct them at the time.
Okay.
Because I was younger,
Sure.
and I remember the judges would say like, "She's so pretty. She has this great charisma and everything, but she has to smile."
She has to
the
smile.
next time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember I won that first competition, the first pageant.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't like it was just like not like a city pageant, anything like that. It was
Okay.
just like, oh, girls something, you know?
Okay,
Like, it's
sure.
not like, it's a small competition.
Is a pageant, is that a popular thing in Brazil?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
You
'Cause
have
Brazil's
like
supposed to
many,
have-
many kinds of pageant in Brazil.
Okay.
Many.
Okay.
And I remember going through that, and I was very happy. And I remember the prize was you would get a room, all the furniture for your room.
Oh, like your fully furnished bedroom.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So up
Nice.
until maybe like I was 14 years old, that was my furniture for a long time.
That's great.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, this is really good.
Yeah.
You know, like I went without any experience and I won. And I was quite happy to continue going down
Sure.
this journey. And we went, and like my parents, they did everything they could.
Yeah.
Anything that they would see that would be interesting for me, they would put me everywhere.
Okay.
Everywhere. Like
Great.
every pageant, everything. And I remember when I turned like maybe 9, we would go every Thursday and every Thursday and Saturday for a class.
Okay.
So
Like a walking class or a makeup
catwalking,
class.
makeup, posing,
Okay.
learn how to be a model, basically.
Okay.
And I was 9 years old, and my mom
Wow.
would go every time with me to another city because we live. My family lives in it's close to Porto Alegre, which is the
Okay.
capital of the state we live in.
Okay.
But it's you still have to take a train
Okay.
and go down there.
Brazil is big.
And Brazil is
Yeah,
big,
okay.
yeah. So we would go every time, and I remember like since then it was like, okay, I found my life goal.
Nice.
This is what I want for my life. And while I was doing that, I was also like participating in everything that I could.
Mm-hmm.
I got into an agency when I was 9 or 10 years old, and I
Okay.
stayed with them up until I was like 15 years old.
Okay.
That was a national agency.
Okay.
So whenever I was in Brazil, they would, try to get some jobs for me and everything like that. But it's funny because even though I really wanted that, I was a very negative kid.
Really? Okay.
Like when it comes to, oh, you're going to do a casting, right? You have to go to a casting
Yeah.
and see if you're going to be able to do this job.
Sure.
And it was very negative. I would always say, like, I don't know why I'm even going there because I'm not going to pass.
Okay.
And my mom would hate it because why are you even like bothering to come if you
Yeah.
know you're not going to pass, But I think it's also the pressure that it was being put on me.
Yeah.
Not by my parents, because my parents never pressured me.
Okay.
They would always like, you want to do this, you're going to do it. If you don't want it, we stop it right now.
Okay.
It's not something like, because I know a lot of girls, they do it for the parents.
Yeah, I can imagine so. Yeah. The parents have like a little girl. They go, oh my gosh, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's also
Yeah.
it's tough as a parent too, because every parent thinks their kid is beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And then every
And
parent
talented,
thinks
and
they're
she's like, oh,
talented
yeah.
and smart. And I taught lots of kids here, and kids are great. I love kids. But some parents, if they think, oh my God, my kid is the smartest person or
Yeah.
the best soccer player. Why my kid's on the bench? I'm like, well, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now that I have my own kid, yeah,
You
I
understand
understand
them.
for sure. Of course. Yeah.
But especially my dad, my mom actually wasn't really okay at the beginning.
Okay.
She was going everywhere with me. She was supporting me, but she was like, I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay.
It was my dad's idea, and I just jumped on it, but we weren't, like, she wasn't really, okay with the whole
Okay.
thing because she was afraid of what I would go through,
Okay. Yeah.
Because when you're younger, they have more control of it, but you don't know in a few years, right? So I was doing all of these pageants. Like I have, I don't know, maybe more than 150 pageants.
Wow.
Competitions
That's
that I
amazing.
went.
Okay.
I did a few jobs as a younger kid, and I remember like when I was 12 or 13, I would still do a few jobs whenever I was in Brazil.
Yeah.
But when I was 13, so the agency that I was national. So
Okay.
they weren't selling. That's the word we
Sure.
use.
Okay.
Selling the
Okay.
girls to international trips.
Okay. Okay.
And they invited a international agency to cast to see who they wanted to cast from that
Okay.
agency. So they would like collaborate and would try to get these girls on an international contract.
Okay. Okay.
And I remember I was 13, and only, I don't know how many girls were in that casting, but only 2 girls, I think me and 2 more girls, or me and 1 more girl passed. And I was 13, and the other girl was like already 15 maybe.
Okay.
And they really tried to put her on a contract as soon as possible.
At 15.
At 15.
Oof.
I was 13 when I
Okay,
got into
okay,
that agency. But she didn't want to. I don't know exactly like if she didn't want to, or if the parents weren't acceptable of the contract.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know that it didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
And I remember the owner of the agency saying that, she's too young. Maybe we're gonna wait a year.
Okay.
And a few months later, I signed the first contract.
Okay. Okay.
We
okay,
didn't
okay.
even wait a year.
With the
and
same company, yeah?
The
Or
same
no? Okay,
company.
gotcha.
The same company. We signed. I mean, I was already into the agency.
Sure, gotcha.
But I needed like a contract to
Okay.
travel, right?
Okay.
So I signed the first contract when I was still 13.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe a month later, I turned 14,
Okay.
and we had to wait. And I turned 14 on November, right? My
Okay.
birthday is in November. So I remember we had to wait for the Chinese New Year
Okay.
to pass.
Yeah.
So then I could go on to my contract. But I
Okay.
signed when I was like 13 because it was like in October probably.
Okay. Okay. So the Chinese New Year is relevant because the international company was
Yeah,
in
in
China,
China.
right?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Chinese New Year is a big, like a new sort of thing here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like no one works.
New beginning. Yeah.
during
oh
the
my
Chinese
gosh.
New
Yeah,
Year.
yeah, yeah. It's crazy.
Who's going to
yeah.
contract a model during
That
the
makes
Chinese
sense.
New
Yeah.
Year? It's not something you have emergency on.
Yeah. So as a kid, right? Like you're 13, turning 14-year-old, you signed an international contract, which is, I don't know if that's common. That sounds like, wow, that's pretty, I
Yeah.
wouldn't think it's uncommon.
Yeah,
right?
usually that's what my father thought. That's
Yeah.
why I say that at first my mom wasn't accepting,
Okay.
and my father was. And then when this happened, he was like, "This
Okay,
is too
right
much."
now? Yeah.
yeah, because we usually understand that she's gonna go in a few pageants, she's gonna do a few jobs, and
Yep.
then when she's 16, she's gonna go to São Paulo first.
Okay.
Turn 18 and then go into an international trip. That's what
that's-
everyone plans on.
That's the normal route
That's the normal route
for a model
exactly.
in Brazil.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone goes to São Paulo first, so they have some kind of experience, and then go to international trips.
Okay.
But with mine, it was just like, okay, she's going to China next year,
Wow.
and my
That's
dad was
crazy.
like, no, 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 no.
So going to China, I mean, they're not going to send a 14-year-old girl by herself, right? Your mom went
They
with
could.
you? They could.
They could.
They could.
There's no.
Really?
Like most of the girls, they go by themselves.
Really?
Actually, most of the girls are like at least 16.
Okay.
But
That's a little
I know
better,
a
yeah.
few people that started traveling when they were like 14 or
Okay.
15.
Okay.
But my mom did go with me because
Beautiful. Yeah. Because you're 13 or 14. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
14, just turned 14,
Yeah.
and like you don't know like
And it's a
what
different
kind
language.
of situation,
Yeah.
Is
Culture.
it because
safe.
you can never trust 100% people.
No, of course not.
So
No,
you
no,
don't
no.
know, like maybe she goes there and it's something completely different. Like we know it happens.
Yeah, for sure. Especially your little girl. right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
even your little boy, but a girl is, it's
Yeah,
different. It's
yeah.
a little bit different for
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
And so my mom did go with me. We went to Shantou,
Okay.
which is a smaller city. And she stayed with me for like probably like 10 days
Okay.
just to see
Yeah. Just to
what kind of situation I was, where was I living, who was taking care of me, what was the agency like and
Yeah.
everything. And I remember they loved the fact that she was the first mom that actually went
Really?
there. Yeah,
Okay.
she was the first mom.
Wow.
And they loved showing her new things, even though she wasn't like interested on getting
yeah.
to know the city, because she
Yeah.
only wanted to take care of me and to be honest, it was really, how can I explain? My parents really did a big shot when
Okay.
they sent me because I wasn't prepared at all
Okay.
for what was coming.
Okay.
I
okay.
wasn't.
Okay.
Like even like taking care of myself. I remember
Yeah.
I still have a little book that my mom left, like a notepad
Uh-huh.
that she left. Okay. Washing clothes, you do this. Laundry, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want to cook chicken, you do this. If you want to cook broccoli, you do this. I
Wow.
didn't know how to even to make an omelet,
Okay. Yeah.
and I had to be living by myself, cooking my meals, doing my laundry.
Wow. Okay. Yeah,
You
that's unbelievable. So I think that going there is already going to be a big shock.
Yeah.
Going at like 14.
Yeah.
So my daughter is almost 13, so that's a similar age. Like, just to send her somewhere and be like, hey, cooking everything that she doesn't know
can't,
how to do
right?
it either. She
Yeah.
cannot. No, for sure. Even now, she'd be like, oh, I don't want to do this and that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So before we talk about China, right? In Brazil, I'm sure modeling must be very popular, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Almost every girl wants to be a model in
Because
Brazil.
in Brazil has the mix of
The history,
you know, white,
right?
black,
Especially
brown,
in South.
everything. Yeah.
Because most of the big models, Brazilian models, they come from the South.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
usually the look that they want is like,
Sure.
taller,
Uh-huh.
thinner, blonde, or
Yeah.
green eyes, blue eyes.
Okay.
You know.
I was gonna say, so in Mexico, if you go to Mexico and you're like blonde, blue eye, or green eyes, it's like they're
almost
you're
went
above
to
everybody.
Mexico
Yeah. Really.
to work.
Okay.
I almost went to.
Really?
But I was 17 and they didn't allow it.
Really. Okay,
I remember
okay.
I did the interview and the owner of the agency was like quite happy. Oh, we're really happy.
Yeah.
You can come next month. And then at the end of the interview, he was like, "You're 18, right?" I was like, "No, I'm not."
Almost,
And he
yeah.
was like, don't tell me that." It was
Ah.
like a huge gap, maybe
Okay.
like 6 or 7 months for me to
Oh,
turn 18.
Okay,
so
okay.
yeah.
So what I was going to say is that in Mexico, again, they always have the blonde and the blue eyes. When you go, everybody's like, wow.
Yeah.
Is Brazil is similar, same, or
You mean the
For, like,
people
models
or
and-
the
and-
modelings?
modeling, and also the people? Like for the people, if you go to Mexico and you're blonde, then everybody thinks like, wow, like a blonde is like it's like
Rare. Mm-hmm.
and like exotic and special, right? And everybody loves it.
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
Because Brazil does have a lot of white
okay.
people too, but it depends on the area as well.
Okay.
Like for example, when I went to Mario's place,
Okay.
the first time, I remember it happened. Like I went into a store and they would looking at me, like kind of like shocked. And when I
Okay.
spoke Portuguese, they were like, "You speak Portuguese?"
How come you speak Portuguese? Yeah.
So they thought, because it depends on the area, but it's not really shocking.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
not really.
So now you're going to China, where it will be shocking
yeah,
to have a blonde,
lot.
tall, thin, blonde,
Yeah.
light skin, green eyes. So tell me about your experience landing in China. You were still a kid, like 14.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the China.
Honestly, I felt like, I don't know, Lady Gaga over there.
Okay, yeah,
Madonna over there.
Okay, I bet.
It's crazy how much they would, like how many times I would walk down a street and how many times people would talk to me. People would stop me for a picture. People would come and touch my hair. You have no idea how many times I was walking on the street and I just felt like, what is that? Because
What?
they feel like, okay,
Must
the hair
be.
is different. It probably feels different too.
Okay.
And especially because I was in a smaller city. Whenever I went to another cities to work,
Okay.
it wasn't that much. But
Okay.
on the city that I was living in, I remember the taxis, they would stop on the street, hey, ni hao,
Ni hao,
something
yeah.
like this. And asked for to take a picture. At the gym, I was working out and people would be like
Of
trying
course.
to take a picture. So.
That's funny.
But it's really nice. Like I never had any issue with that.
Okay.
I never had any issue. I remember other girls would complain and would, say like, go away, stuff like
Sure,
this.
of
I never
course.
had that problem.
Okay.
Especially because I never had any person that would approach me and would be disrespectful.
Okay.
Never.
Mostly respectful. Then.
Yeah,
Okay.
most it was
okay.
like older people or like young children.
Okay, sure.
So those two usually they are more respectful.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so I never had any issue with that.
Okay.
But it's a shocking thing. Like even walking on the street and the car is not stopping for you, because that's
Oh
something
yeah.
you just
Yeah.
have to go, like for your life, like go cross the street.
Yeah.
Find out if you're gonna be alive.
It's like that old video game where the frog is crossing the busy road, Frogger, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
I remember my mom. She would say, "No, wait! You have to wait for the to cross the
Oh,
street." And I'm like,
the
"If we
crosswalk,
wait,
yeah.
we're never gonna cross the street."
Yeah.
you know?
That's funny.
But it was a really nice experience. I think at that moment I didn't even have the idea of what I was going through. I think it was so much information, so many things for me to learn,
Sure.
and it was just like I wasn't really understanding what was happening to me.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's also like hard, working in China as a model.
Okay.
I think I don't know how it's now, because it has been like almost 10 years
Okay.
that happened. So it was sometimes we would have clients that were very disrespectful.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would sometimes, especially the second turn, the second contract that I did,
Yeah.
I would notice they would basically treat us as meat.
Yeah.
You look at her, oh no, she's fat. Pass. Next. Oh, I don't like her nose. Pass.
Yeah. Wow.
And
I wanted to ask about that because Taiwan is similar. Like I've been here for a long time, right?
Yeah.
And it's changed a lot, but there it still has stuff like that in certain areas, right? And I would imagine China is something similar, right? But
No, it's worse.
It must be worse, right?
Way
like
worse.
100 times
Taiwan
worse.
is a paradise compared to that.
I know. Taiwan is great. I just mean that, for example, I have one of my best friends. He's Italian American, and his wife is also Taiwanese. And whenever I hang out with their parents, with the guys, it's we're drinking, and then when it gets to a certain level, I'm like, okay, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I don't want to, because I know that I've been in
Will
this situation
escalate.
many times. And it's like, okay, I got to go, because it's like, whoa, I've been to that situation where, people will just do crazy stuff, especially if they have money, because they'll be like, oh, how much?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, check please. I got to get out of here because I don't want to be involved in this. So I would imagine China's similar, if not worse, right? Much worse. Yeah.
Much worse.
Yeah.
And the clients are present
Okay.
at the jobs.
Okay.
In China, here most of the time you don't even know who's the client.
They want. It's like they want to
not
watch.
even there.
Make sure in China
Sometimes
they're watching.
They're
Okay.
there.
Okay.
They're there.
Okay.
For sure. They're not gonna be, asking someone else to be taking care of that. No.
Okay.
And even like, I remember in my city there was like a famous photographer. He was, the big guy there.
The famous
And
guy.
he was horrible to us.
Okay.
He was horrible. And I remember like, come on, I was 14 years old. It was my first experience. And he looked at me and he said, "Oh my God, you're so fat.
What? Really?
Look at your legs. You're so fat."
Wow. That's wow.
And I'm
Okay.
like, and he looked disgusted.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So I was like, that is not okay.
That's
I
bad.
remember I broke down. Like
Of course,
I
you're
started
14 years old.
crying and everything.
Yeah.
And I even gave him like a rude response too. But
Fuck you. You're
Yeah.
fat.
I said no. I said something like, "Well, I can get skinnier, but you're ugly.
You're
you cannot
ugly
do
forever.
anything."
Well, it's true. It's
But
true. Yeah.
and I remember I started crying,
Yeah.
and the makeup artist was like worried about me and everything.
Yeah, of
And when I
course.
came back, because I still had to finish the job, and
Yeah.
when I came back, he was like, "Oh, you're so pretty." He was like faking it and laughing about it. You know, nothing happened to
Like
him.
sarcastic.
Yeah, and
Okay.
it's never gonna happen.
No,
you know.
never. Yeah.
So, but it was a really nice experience. Like, I had a lot of clients that treat me really good.
Okay.
I had a lot of makeup artists. Usually
Okay.
the makeup artist is like a sweet girl.
I would
you know?
imagine, yeah,
they
yeah.
would always like take care of me.
Okay.
And take care of the other girls too. But it is a pressure that it's hard.
Okay.
It's hard. Like
Okay.
you have to keep skinny. You cannot get 1 centimeter larger. You cannot do anything.
Yeah.
You know. And if you do it, if you get like fat,
Yeah.
which is not really.
Which is, oh man, yeah, I have a story about that quick too, actually. But you
They
finish.
would cut our pocket money because we
Really?
survived on pocket money, right?
Of
They would
course.
give us every week.
Yeah.
And this never happened to me, but I remember this happening to girls, and they were like, "How can you survive with half the pocket money?" Like, it's not like okay, she's gonna eat less because she has less money. Like, you're not even letting the girl. Probably now she's gonna eat worse food because she has less money,
Yeah,
so
of
she's
course.
gonna spend money
McDonald's
on
or crappy
bad
whatever food.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I remember a long time ago, like 20 years ago or so, I got asked to do some kind of modeling or something, and I was like
In Taiwan.
in Taiwan. I was probably like 80 or maybe 78 kilos,
Mm-hmm.
185 centimeters, and so I went to do it.
Oh, that's skinny.
Yes, very skinny,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
10, 15 kilos less than I am now. And I went, and it was me and a bunch of Taiwanese guys. And the Taiwanese guys were about my height. And like I understand and speak Chinese, but I always pretend I couldn't. And so, I was basically the fat guy, right? And basically, I was doing, whatever. I was just like some dumb commercial. I don't even remember what
Yeah.
it was. But I remember the agents talking to the Taiwanese guys that were my height, like maybe Mario's height.
Yeah.
And they said, how much you weighing now? And they said, 65. And they're like, got to get to 55. Got to get to 55.
Oh my God,
And I said,
55 when you're
55 kilo.
185?
Yeah. And I thought, holy shit, 55. This is crazy. I think I was 55 when I was like 10. Maybe it's
Yeah.
crazy, 10 years old, right? But it's crazy. So I can imagine with women, it's got to be even crazier.
It's worse.
It's worse.
And it's weird because we have a pattern.
Yeah.
We have something that we need to follow, a rule that we need to follow.
Yeah.
We cannot be over 90 centimeters on bust and hips.
Okay.
And
oh, wow.
not over 60 centimeters on the waist.
Okay.
Right? But for example, I have a friend that because I wasn't a fashion model.
Okay.
Fashion, you have to be way skinnier.
Okay.
I was a commercial model. But I did do a lot of catwalk and all of that,
Sure.
but I wasn't like the fashion looking model.
Okay.
And that friend of mine, she's a fashion model.
Mm-hmm.
And she has bigger waist than I do
Okay.
because of her body type.
Okay,
But she's
yeah, body
way
type.
skinnier than me.
Okay.
Way
sure.
skinnier than me.
Okay.
But her waist is a little bit bigger, but because of the overall look, it's okay, so they would pass.
Okay.
But for example, if they had any issue with her, let's say they have any issue with her, or maybe she's not working enough, and she's gonna ask them, okay, I'm not working enough, I need to work more. They would say, oh, it's because you are 62 now.
It's because you're fat.
So they're
Really?
gonna use anything against.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
crazy, man. I would imagine, wow, China 10 years ago would be
Yeah,
tough.
yeah.
So at that time, like, were you doing homeschool or how was was there schooling?
So the
with that,
first
or tell
time
me
I
about that?
went, it was for 3 months.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I was able to go back and study.
okay.
And then the next time I went, I actually lost a year. Like
Okay.
I wasn't able, because at that time in Brazil, I was studying in Brazil at that time, so we weren't able to online study.
Okay.
I really tried because I was
Okay.
like, I don't want to lose the year.
Sure,
You know?
yeah.
Because it was 6 months.
Okay.
So there was no way,
Yeah.
I really tried, but there was no way, after COVID,
Yeah.
things got much
Oh, yeah.
better. I think that
Sure.
would be an option
Yeah.
now. But I remember I went back and I tried to do the exam.
Yeah.
The last exam.
Yeah, like the final
for
exam.
a bad student that have been throughout the
Yeah.
year, you have the last option.
I even
right?
went to school and I was still the bad student. So yeah.
Yeah, so I did that, but how can I know
It's not
anything?
possible.
Like, it's
Yeah.
not possible.
Yeah.
I don't have any
Okay.
idea. I remember
Okay.
especially math, because I'm not,
Okay.
you know, I remember I'm like, I'm just gonna sign my name, you know.
Yeah, of course. That's
I
tough.
have no, yeah.
Yeah.
And then after I came here,
Okay, yeah.
I
So
decided
China
to-
and then came to Taiwan, right?
yeah, went 2 times to China.
Okay. Back
And
to
then-
Brazil and then
yeah.
Brazil to Taiwan.
Yeah, but that between those two, the last time in China and the first time in Taiwan, there is a 1 year and almost a year and a half gap.
Okay,
That I
okay.
was not traveling.
Okay.
I tried many contracts. I don't know why. It's just maybe it's destiny, something
Okay,
like this.
okay.
It just didn't happen. I tried Mexico.
Okay.
I tried many places, and it was just not happening.
Okay.
So I was even like giving up.
Okay.
Honestly, I was
Okay.
giving up.
And how old
because
were you around this age? 17?
16 to 17.
16. Okay.
Yeah, and it was hard because since I was very young, I was always making money by myself.
Ah, okay.
Very young, because
Yeah.
I was throughout my whole teenage years, I would always work on something else too.
Okay.
So I
Wow.
was dancing, so I would, dancing as a group, so we would get paid. I was doing theater, so
Okay.
sometimes we would get paid.
Okay.
I was doing, and then I decided on that year and a half gap, I decided to study to be a makeup artist.
Okay.
So I was getting money too.
Okay.
So it was hard for me, and I was like, okay, maybe I should just at least wait until I'm 18
Okay.
and not try to do any more contracts and like get a real job or get
Okay.
focus on something so I can get some
Yeah.
money, because it was hard for me. I never liked asking my parents for money.
Okay. Yeah. Understand.
I never
yeah.
liked it,
Yeah.
especially because my first trip I was 14. So from that point on, in my
Understand.
mind, I was like, okay, from now on, I need to be working.
Yeah. I'm my own person now.
Yeah.
I'm 14. I make my own money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then going to 17 and you're not making any money, that's a tough feeling for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Taiwan, let's talk quickly about after that 1.5 years, you came to Taiwan for modeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So how did that work? Was the same like an agency thing again?
Yeah,
Or,
the
okay.
same international agency
Okay.
was trying to get a contract, and actually, we were talking. The agency was talking to the agency that I came
Okay.
here for like a long time,
Okay.
and they were trying to get some like collaboration with another agency. So I would spend like 3 months or 6 months here and then go to another agency in China.
Yeah. Okay.
So something like this. I don't remember why it took a long time. And I remember we tried to do my visa in Brazil,
okay.
and it was
Rejected.
rejected.
Okay.
I don't know why. I have no idea why.
Okay.
Because we had everything
You
legal,
already did
the
it.
working
Okay.
permit, everything.
Interesting.
I honestly don't know why.
Okay.
So after a few months, I was like, okay. I told my mom, like, I don't even want to know what is happening. I
Okay.
don't want to know. I'm not planning on traveling. I'm not trying to focus on like, oh, let's do everything that we can. I'm just, like, it was
Yeah, it's
frustrating.
Yeah.
So I just told her, like, I don't want to hear any news.
Okay.
And then New Year's came, Christmas and
Yep.
everything. I was like, okay. And I remember I even mentioned to my dad, like, I want to get a real job this year.
Okay.
And my dad
Okay.
was like, maybe we wait a couple, because he knew what was going on, like,
Yeah,
behind.
he knew the
Yeah,
details.
yeah.
Okay. And he wants to take care of you. He wants to make
Yeah,
sure,
yeah,
mentally you're okay and you don't want to.
And also,
okay.
I think my dad knew that my goal was to be a model.
Okay.
So he was like, why are you losing, like, because when you're a model, you can't lose time,
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah,
Time
yeah.
goes against you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I remember he said, no, let's wait. And then, I don't know, I think it was probably like February. My mom said, okay, we have one last option.
Mm-hmm.
That would be you going to Hong Kong
Okay.
and getting the visa there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
as my visa was rejected.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So
yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna go all the way to Hong Kong.
That's scary.
How about
That's
if
crazy.
they reject me again?
Yeah.
And then the agency said, like, if you get your visa rejected again, we're just gonna find a contract for you in Hong Kong because
wow.
we have my passport allows me to stay 3 months in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the
Wow.
the plan.
So they're like, we're gonna do this. You want to do it? Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in Hong Kong. So for me, when I came here at the very beginning, I used to have to go. When I changed schools, I'd have to go to Hong Kong and do like a visa run. I've done like so many
Yeah,
visa runs.
yeah.
It's crazy, right? I
I
remember.
had to do it when I was in China. Like we would have to step out the country
Okay.
and go back. So we
Okay.
would go to Hong Kong because
Because it's close,
closer.
yeah. So for us, because for me, Taiwan's an island, right?
Yeah.
So I always had to,
Yeah.
fly there, and then you go at lunchtime, you pay for the express visa, and then they're like, "Oh, why do you need it so quick?" And I'm just like, "Because I'm working illegally." Like, well, yeah, I just have to go, and then they're just
Yeah.
looking at you, and you're like, "Oh, come on."
But I was.
It's crazy.
I had
but you
all
were,
the
yeah,
papers.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I had the working permit, everything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I
yeah.
had proof that I was an actual model. Like
Yeah.
it was everything correct, you know.
Okay.
So I remember I went to Hong Kong, and you know how Hong Kong is.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
you can go.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah,
It's
that's
crazy,
great.
like
That's-
how easy, you
Yeah.
know. Like at least it was, maybe because I had all the documents.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know?
No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's good.
Because I don't know if that works as a visitor
Okay.
visa.
okay.
I don't know if
Yeah.
that's easy. But yeah, and then I was like, okay, I can go tomorrow. So
Okay.
I just came here, and it was
Okay.
a shock again
Of course.
because Taiwan is like completely different from China.
From China, and you would think it's going to be the same.
And
at
I
that
thought,
age. Yeah,
okay,
of course.
I'm going to China.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
one knows.
No one knows the
now
difference.
people know a little bit more
Yeah.
about Taiwan because of everything that goes around, and the earthquake,
The
and
earthquake,
all of
and
that.
then COVID, and
Yeah,
then China, and then just everybody.
But people still talk to me and Mario and say, "Oh, how is it going in China? How is it going in Japan?" Like
Okay.
they don't even know. Sometimes they still don't know.
My mom thought that I was in Japan for like the first how many years, and my dad thought I was in Thailand, right?
my-
So like 15 years ago or something like that, there was a big tsunami in
Yeah.
Japan,
Yeah.
and like a month later, my mom calls me. She's like, "Oh, Miko, you okay?" I'm like, what? What are you talking about? She said,
didn't
"Oh,
even-
I saw the tsunami." I'm like, first of all, that's like a month ago.
Yeah.
Second of all, that's a completely different country.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, okay."
I can't
Yeah.
imagine like when you came up here, because it was like what 20 years ago.
20 over a few 22 or something like that.
Then
it was crazy.
just I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I
no
mean,
one knew
it was
about
funny
it.
because I planned to come for 1 or 2 years, and it was funny because you were talking about this story. I would go out, and everybody would be offering me, come and teach my kid, come and teach
Yeah.
at my school, come and teach this and that. It was crazy, and then it was funny because like similar to your situation, take pictures, blah blah blah. Everywhere you go, people are taking pictures and stuff with
it
you.
was like more similar to China.
Yeah, more
period.
similar to
Yeah.
China, right? And the funny thing was, about 2 years later, the school I worked for, they brought in these 2 girls from England, and one was blonde, right? So I went from like, everywhere you go, everyone's taking pictures with you, and so when I would walk with this blonde girl, I'm all of a sudden the cameraman. They're like, "Hey, here, take a picture of me and this girl," and I'm like, "Oh,
We don't need you anymore.
you don't want to take a picture with me?" They're like, "No, I want to take a picture with the blonde girl." They're like touching the hair and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like, it's crazy. It's funny. It was funny for me though. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. It was a crazy situation because I come from a really small town in Canada, and there's not much going on there. It's a great place. I don't want to say anything bad. It's a beautiful place, but like in a small town, let's say all the girls in your age range. You kind of know
Yeah.
most of them already,
Yeah.
and like their last 5 boyfriends,
Yeah.
and like everything
Yeah.
about everybody. So then you come here, and everywhere you go, everybody's kind of like, let's teach me English, and you're just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was overwhelming at the beginning, but then it's of course was great, but
Yeah.
it was just overwhelming at the beginning, especially being like 23. like quiet person from a small town, and then you're like, whoa. So
Yeah.
it was cool. It was cool. It took a while to get used to. But it's funny how I was, this star, and then I was the cameraman for the blonde girl. Whenever we went out, it was funny. Yeah, it was really
Yeah.
good.
No, and then
Okay.
I was quite happy actually.
Sure, I can imagine. Yeah,
Because it was definitely not what I was hoping.
it was better than you thought it was
Better,
going to be.
for
Okay,
sure.
sure.
Better.
Great.
Things here are convenient. Like
Oh, man.
you don't depend too much on the agency as well. I remember
Yeah.
it was a shock to me that I would have to go to the jobs by myself.
Okay.
Because in
okay.
China they take you everywhere.
Okay.
They take you everywhere.
Uh-huh.
And it was cool, It was
Yeah.
nice for me to like
Kind of
have
independent,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
have more independence because I think in China I was relying. I actually not relying, but I needed to rely on the agency.
It's kind of like get in the van, we drop you off, we pick you up.
Yeah.
Or here you're going by yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
We would go to castings with the agency,
Okay.
but not to the jobs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And then so what are some of the differences? Obviously the culture in Taiwan and Brazil are very different,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
So
for
what are
sure.
some of the differences maybe that
I
were
think-
like huge for you? Yeah.
I think the most shocking thing for me at first is because in Brazil we hug a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember, sometimes even in China, like I would hug my booker, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Why are you doing this?" Or
Yeah.
when I came to Taiwan, I already knew about this, so
okay.
it was more like okay for me. But it's also hard because you come from a country that, everyone
Hug, kiss.
hugs.
Yeah.
Everyone is like close.
Yeah.
They are always like trying to help you or stuff like this. And Taiwanese people are very
Yeah.
friendly as well.
Yep.
But I think it's different for them, maybe because I'm a foreigner as well.
Yeah.
So that was a first shock in China actually, and in Taiwan I saw it was basically quite similar. Here they're more open for sure.
Okay.
They're
okay.
more open.
Okay.
I don't know what else. I think
You mentioned the convenience is crazy here. It's
Yeah.
just like you don't even need a car.
you don't need anything.
Yeah.
You can take, MRT bus everywhere.
It's crazy.
That's
And it's
also
safe
really
and
nice.
clean.
Yeah. I think the safety is what
Yeah.
keeps me here.
Okay.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Like the biggest reason is the safety.
Okay.
Because you also
Yeah, for sure.
you're from Canada and
Yeah,
Mexico
yeah,
and
yeah.
United States, Brazil, it's hard.
Yeah.
Latin countries it's hard.
Yeah,
Brazil
yeah.
it's a little bit better than most of the countries, but
okay.
it's still very hard, like walking on the street with your phone. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna do that in Brazil.
Yeah. No.
You're gonna do it if you see the policeman
Okay.
on the corner.
Yeah.
But like my state was actually way safer
Okay.
than a lot of states in Brazil.
Okay.
But I still don't have the safety. For example, like sometimes I would have jobs that we need to catch the sunrise.
Okay.
So I would have to go to the location at 3 a.m.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay.
I could go with my phone in my hand checking out
Here-
the
oh, yeah.
taxi
Okay,
and
sure,
everything. In
sure.
Brazil, I would never do that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
you don't know.
I
Simply don't know.
We have like a bar here, and I have some
Yeah.
customers that live nearby, and they'll come and they'll have drinks and stuff like that. And sometimes they don't make it home. Like they'll just be on a bench somewhere, kind of like taking a nap, and they have the wallet and the keys and the phone. They take it out and on the bench, and they just take like a nap. And I see these guys, and oh my God, this is crazy.
This is crazy.
Yeah. And I kind of shake them a little bit. Hey, man, where do you live? I'll take you home. So I've had to do that many times. But anywhere else, even Canada, even
Yeah.
Mexico for sure.
Let's
But even
say
Canada, you
to-
cannot do that. USA,
You
you
cannot
take
do that.
everything, put your
It's
your
funny,
cash,
like
everything.
for example, sometimes someone drops a wallet and
Mm-hmm.
they don't see it. So, okay, I'll put it here. It's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
stay there.
We'll stay there for weeks
Yeah.
until police or somebody
Yeah.
picks it up. Yeah.
It's crazy. I noticed because I take my dog to a playground around my house.
Yeah.
And, a lot of kids go there every day. They
Yeah.
leave their toys there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like, they can leave their toys. Next
Yeah.
day, it's going to be
It's gonna
there.
be there.
you know. So,
Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's amazing. You go to like a Starbucks and you do some work and you take off for 30 minutes, come back, you just leave everything,
Yeah.
no problem.
For
It's
example,
crazy.
even
Yeah.
like leaving my phone
I'm okay.
on the table. It's okay, thank you. Leaving my phone right here on the table, and then I'm alone, right?
Yeah.
And I'll go to the bathroom. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna leave my phone here if I'm in Brazil.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
You don't know.
You don't
It's
know.
not.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Oh, Carol, but there are places that you can
you
do
can.
that.
Sure, I'm sure.
Of course there are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Of course there are.
Yeah.
But will I try?
Yeah.
I
Of
don't
course
know.
not. Of course.
Here
It's
in
tough.
Taiwan, it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know.
No, I think even, like the Japan and Taiwan, we went to visit Japan a few times, and we also see, I guess Japan must be the similar, like really safe. And we see kids take like the MRT, by themselves, like 6 years old. And I'm just, and they just kind of walking on there, they just swipe their car, they go in, people just let them sit,
Yeah.
and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I was still like walking my kid to school. She's 12, even though
Yeah.
it's Taiwan, because I'm still like,
Because we
kinda-
have the mindset
Yeah.
of what we went through.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it only takes one time you cross the street and you get, and she's gone, right? So I'm still
Yeah.
like, no, I take care.
So many
I take
cases
care.
in Brazil
Yeah.
that are missing kids.
Yeah,
They just vanish.
yeah. They just, and then that's it. You
They
can never
cross
find.
the street and then
It's crazy.
where is
Yeah.
this kid?
It's-
So many cases.
It's sad too.
Yeah.
It's scary. So I know you guys are young, but I have my daughter, so it's kind of like, oh, I'm always a little bit worried. I'm like, oh, you want to do this? Oh, no, okay. So like you were saying with your parents, we also like I coached soccer most of my life, and then when I had my daughter, everybody said, oh, she will be the next Ronaldo, and then she played and she doesn't like it, so it's like, oh my gosh, you're like, so I didn't force her to play.
No, yeah.
Yeah, you cannot force her to play.
That's something that I
tough.
always
Yeah.
talk to my parents. Like, I really do appreciate
Yeah.
how they protected me
Yeah,
as much as they could.
Yeah.
Of course, when I was on another country,
Yeah,
they
that's-
couldn't, protect me.
Of course.
But they did teach me what was right and what
Yeah.
was wrong.
yeah,
And they never pressured me into like, oh, you can't do this, or they weren't overprotective parents.
yeah,
But I knew what was wrong, and if I even thought of doing something that was wrong, I would always say like, my parents would be devastated.
yes, 100%. 100%.
So I'm always glad, and I don't know, I just love the way my parents are they are just awesome. I can't complain a thing
Yeah.
about them. They were always putting me on, always trying to protect me, but at the same time making me understand that only I could choose what I wanted for my life.
Yeah.
So,
Beautiful.
like, the talk that you have to have with a teenager,
Yeah.
and all of that, and if you choose this path, this could happen to you, but it's your choice.
Okay.
And in my mind, it was like, I cannot choose that. Like, imagine my dad or my mom finding out I did this. Like, I
Yeah.
can't do that,
Yeah.
So, and I see, because I saw a lot of models choosing bad things
Yeah,
for their
sure.
lives.
Yeah.
And I would notice, like, maybe they didn't have what I had.
100%. Yeah.
Like, we even Mario and I always talk about that. He would also think like, what would my mom think about it
yeah.
if
yeah.
she finds out, So that stopped us from going into a bad path, let's say.
I think that's important. Same thing for me. Like my parents, my parents from Mexico,
Yeah.
right? And we've had, we have, some family that has, deals drugs, and some has been in jail and all that stuff. And so I stayed like, very far away from that stuff. And whenever there was always the offer, like, hey, here's some, let's do this. I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, I don't. And my mom will be like so
Yeah.
devastated if I even get close to that stuff. So, I understand 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and the parents,
hard.
they make it like the priority is just to make sure you have a good life and kind of point you in the right way. And they hope you step through that door,
Mm-hmm.
right? They hope you go and you make the right choice because they cannot push you through the door.
Yeah.
Because that then people kind of rebel, right? So they show you the door, and you're like, okay,
Exactly.
yeah.
I do feel that my parents were really courageous because we're thinking of growing a family
I was gonna ask
and
you
all
that.
of that.
Yeah.
And then I think like if my daughter comes up to me at 13 years old and say, okay, I'm signing a contract to go to, I don't know,
Dubai or something, other side of the world.
I would be like, you're not doing that. No, you stay right here.
yeah.
Because I also think that my parents, they didn't have any people around them that had this kind of experience.
Okay.
So they didn't know what was I going to go through.
Yeah.
They didn't.
It's like a happy, sort of like a naive, like yeah, sure, let's check it. You want to do it? Let's go. Yeah.
And I think they also
Understand.
trusted me a lot.
And no internet when they grew up, right?
Yeah, when they grew
so
up,
there's they don't see all the stories of like
they knew a lot of
modeling.
things for
Okay,
sure.
Okay, yeah.
And I remember the agency also told them about a lot of things that could,
Yeah.
the offers that would,
of course,
you know.
Of course, yeah. Especially for a girl. Yeah.
So, but they did trust me a lot. And I remember my mom was always, she was more tough when I was younger.
Okay.
My dad was the caring.
Daddy's girl, of course. Yeah, of course.
Especially because I'm the youngest
Of course.
child.
Okay.
But I think she saw that, okay, my child is going to another continent.
Okay.
And if I don't be her friend, if I'm not her friend,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen to her. So we got way closer because
Okay.
of everything that was happening to me. And I never had any issue on my life that I was like, okay, I cannot tell this to my mom.
Yeah, I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And I have my daughter, and she always tells me everything, and I
Yeah.
always want to make sure she tells me everything. I don't want her to
She
ever
has
have
to be comfortable.
Yeah, like we share everything. Like we'll play video games, and when there was COVID and there was no
Yeah.
school, online schooling, she loved it.
Sorry.
She loved it because I have all this stuff.
Yeah.
So at home we set up all this stuff and like a big TV and a monitor, and she was just like feet on the table, like she's just playing, and she just, this is great. Let's do this forever. Yeah.
I feel that people always say that for a boy he needs his father, and it's true. Everyone needs the father and the mom.
Everybody
needs.
Yeah.
But I do think that the dad is really important for a girl.
I agree. 100%. Yeah.
Because my dad, you have no idea, like my dad he worked his whole life for the family.
Yeah.
He was working sometimes. I saw my dad spend weeks with sleeping 2 hours a day.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
So how can I do anything that will disappoint him? Or he would always stop everything and help me and help my other siblings. And I remember, for example, something that is in my memory like very strong was that I always liked the catwalk. That was my favorite thing about it.
I bet.
I felt like, oh, this is my place.
Yeah, that's your spot.
So I remember we were in our living room, and he put tapes like that part, the front where I have to look here and here.
Wow.
So he would put the tape, 3 spots where I would have to look at as the judges or the public, right? I have to look there, and there, right?
That's amazing.
And I remember we would spend like Saturdays the whole day. Okay, you go. And then I would catwalk, stop there, go look the other side and look the other side and come back. We would spend like the whole afternoon doing that.
Really?
Yeah, my dad was really, really great. He was really great. Even though he didn't know a thing about like how you have to walk or anything like that, he's not. He's a policeman. Like,
Okay. Okay.
But like he knew what would make me, the posture, you have to look, how you're going to look at the judges, how you're going to. So he always helped me. And I remember like 2 days later, we were going to try it again to spend like the whole afternoon
Yep.
again. And my mom had taken out the tapes
Oh.
because she didn't know.
That's too good.
She
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
know. And then we went into the living room like, where are the tapes, you know? And my mom said, I don't know. I just take it out. I
What's
don't-
this
why
tape?
do
Get
I
rid of
need
it. Yeah, yeah.
But I remember, you know, I had a contest that was to represent my city.
Okay.
And I remember there was a slight chance that the judges would ask me about the history,
Okay.
the city's
The
history.
of the city. Okay.
Yeah. And my dad was like, no way you're going unprepared.
Okay.
So we went to the city hall and we said what was going on. Okay, I'm going to represent the city if I win and all of that. And he got like this much paper on history.
Really? Wow.
And he made me read through the whole thing and actually learn it.
Okay. Wow.
So I remember he would ask me, you know, which year this happened.
Okay.
They didn't ask me a thing. So
Oh,
I
really? Oh, wow.
But my dad was like, that's okay. You were prepared for it.
Wow.
So my dad was always my dad was like, or you do it, but you're going to be great at it,
Okay.
or you don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
So
yeah.
my dad was always like, okay, what kind of contest is this? What kind of pageant is this? What do you need to know? What do you need to learn? So
Wow.
my dad was always focused on that. Like my mom was the she would take me everywhere, go in
Okay.
there and buy this and, you know, get this. But my dad was preparing me.
Okay.
So I always say that I had two teachers, like for modeling
Okay.
courses and stuff like this. But my best teacher was my dad,
Okay.
without a doubt.
Amazing.
You know, he couldn't
Yeah.
teach me, you know, like how to pose,
Sure.
but he would teach me everything else that I needed.
Wow. I think
Yeah.
all the other dads need to step their game up
Yeah.
a little bit. Wow, that's
For sure.
amazing. Wow. Amazing. Let's pull up some pictures and you
Okay.
can tell me, let's do
Sure.
some quick ones here. So we start from a younger you, the younger you there, right? You have the braces there, right? Such a cute picture.
That's when I started smiling with my teeth.
I was going to say, yes, yes.
I think I was maybe 11,
Okay.
12.
I
This
love,
was
that's
after,
such a good picture, yeah.
this was after a pageant that I won, and usually you get like free photos
Okay.
to represent
I understand.
throughout
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
year.
Okay.
So I remember it was something like
Like a
this.
photo shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's
This was about the same age.
Oh, really?
Maybe I was 13 there.
Oh, wow. You look like 17 there. Okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
but that's
Okay.
what
the
they do
makeup
to
and
you.
the hair, I
yeah,
guess. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I think
Okay,
the
okay.
hair and the makeup. This photo shoot was actually, I remember some people said, oh, she looks way too old in these pictures. Because I
Okay.
was like
Okay.
a child.
Okay, okay.
But I think it was good. It was always good for me to have those experience with more like adult photographers.
Okay.
Because it taught me how to behave when I was older.
Okay. Makes sense.
So, yeah, I think I was about 13 because I can see that I was still with my braces on.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
you can see that. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
yeah.
Boom, let's go. This was like a performance or something, right?
So actually,
Theater or something?
I used to do a Lady Gaga cover.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
For many years, I would compete. I won like basically all the times. I would. This
So you have a
was-
good voice too.
No, I wouldn't sing.
Okay, okay.
Because in Brazil, you can do a cover that you will also sing or
Oh.
with just play back.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So I wouldn't sing. My part was just like dancing and stuff like this. I think this was one of the first competitions,
Okay.
probably. Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Couple more. This is here, right?
This is here. This is probably like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I think it was right after we came back from Brazil the first time we went.
Okay.
And we were doing like some collaboration with a Brazilian brand. So I
Okay.
told her like, okay, I'm gonna go
that's
to
cool.
some like tourist area and take some photos for you.
Nice.
Mario helped me to take
Of
those
course,
pictures.
he's the cameraman now. He became the cameraman,
Yeah.
yeah?
Oh, so this was actually a very nice modeling job. The girl that's with me, she was the CEO. She was
Oh,
the
really?
owner. Yeah.
So this is in China or Taiwan
Here,
or Brazil?
here.
Brazil. Oh, here.
Here.
Okay, okay, okay.
It was for like a sports brand, something
Okay.
like this. Like the leggings were the focus there.
Gotcha,
But
okay.
she wanted to do like some fun pictures too.
Okay.
And I loved that modeling job.
Nice.
It was you remember a few.
Okay.
Either was too bad or too good, and that's one of the ones that I really
were
liked.
very
it.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I got to have a picture of you guys
Yeah.
here, of course. Yeah.
That's in Philippines.
Is it? I would have to say congratulations. I saw your wedding dance and all that
Yeah,
stuff. Wow.
yeah.
The dirty dancing stuff. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
That was actually, I always say that I think the first time I watched that movie, I was in love with it. To this day, it's my favorite movie ever.
Okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
still watch every time like I'm not feeling great or something like this. It's like
Okay.
my
Your
sec-
recharge.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I love that movie.
Really?
And I remember when I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old,
Okay.
a little
Yeah, you're a
girl's
kid.
dream. And I would say, okay, when I get married, I'm gonna dance that song.
Okay.
My husband has to dance with me that song.
That's amazing.
And I remember when I told him, he's like, "Oh, come on, this is
I
too
love it.
hard."
I love it. Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, we can do a simpler version."
Okay. Okay.
But I always say that I'm very grateful that
Yeah.
he, even though it's not something that he's comfortable with,
Sure.
dancing.
Okay. Oh, you
he
look
did
great. You look good. This
Yeah.
guy, right? The fighter and a dancer. So there you go.
Yeah.
And one more picture. Last one. Got to have that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Have to have it, of course. Got to have it. Yeah.
That. It's hard for me,
Of course.
This gets me emotional because
Yeah.
they were the best parents that I could ever ask for.
Of course, yeah,
They were amazing then, and they are still amazing, even though I have my own life here.
Sure.
I'm married and everything. They always make sure that I'm okay. They
Yeah.
always make sure that I'm safe.
Okay.
And all of that. My mom talks to me basically every day.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
And my dad, he's more like.
You need money? You okay? Okay. Everything's
Yeah,
good.
more
yeah,
like
yeah.
security guy,
Yeah, yeah.
But he always makes sure, when we video chat, he's always there. He always talks to me. He was very happy when Mario asked him to marry me.
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Of course.
His allowance, right?
Yeah, of course,
He
of
has
course.
to allow it first.
Yeah.
So they're
Of course.
They're
I
great.
know. I know. I'm sure. I'm sure.
they're great. I wish I can be half of what they were.
Okay. Okay.
When I become a mom.
I'm sure you guys will, and the baby's going to be beautiful,
Yeah.
I'm sure. So when you guys have your kids and you have a beautiful blonde little girl and she wants to model.
Maybe, right? Maybe.
Maybe 50-50, right?
Maybe.
Even
a lot of people
brunettes.
say
Yeah.
it's gonna come out looking like me,
Yeah.
but I don't know. The
genes,
brown
right?
the brown gene is also strong.
But
So
doesn't have to be blonde, but you have a beautiful little girl
yeah,
and she says, I want to do modeling too. What are you going to say?
we always talk about that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't know how I would react.
Okay.
I don't think I would.
Okay.
I would support because that's her choice.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would. I don't know. I think I would try to be more present.
Okay. Okay.
But at the same time, what made me into what I am right now is
Yeah.
because my dad and my mom let
Yeah.
me
It's
be
hard.
independent and choose my own path.
Yeah.
And go through everything that I had to go through. So it's hard because it's the same as Mario. We always talk about, like, he says, I don't want my kid to be a fighter.
Okay.
Because
yeah.
he knows what he went through.
I know,
So
I
it's
know.
hard. A
But-
lot of people, oh, I was a model, I want my child to be a model. But I think usually those people that want the kid to be what they were are people that didn't go through, how can I explain, like,
I
didn't
understand. Yeah.
stay in that career for a long time,
Yeah.
or didn't achieve a lot of things,
Yeah.
And going back, I do think that I could have achieved way more
Okay.
if I was a more positive person when
Okay.
was younger, because I started to become more positive like maybe 5 years ago, but I was
Okay.
very negative.
Really? I can't
towards
see that.
myself.
Okay. Okay.
I would always be positive about other people, but
Okay.
towards myself. For you to have an idea,
Yeah.
the law of attraction, right?
Sure. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny. I remember I went to a casting in Brazil, and I remember it was for a shoe company. So the focus, they would have to look at my feet, right? We would
Okay,
have
yeah,
to
that makes sense,
take
yeah.
pictures and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I guess that makes sense.
And I
yeah.
remember I went saying to my mom, like, I don't even know, like, why I'm going, why we're doing this. And I remember my mom was so mad at me because I was saying all of that. And I remember when I went into the, the photograph casting and all of that, my feet, I don't know how, it was black, with
Oh,
black
really?
marks,
Okay,
like
okay.
all around here.
Okay.
Looked like I rode a motorcycle and touched a
Oh.
bicycle.
Okay. Okay.
And touched,
The
the
oil
oil
or
or stuff like this.
Oh.
I'm like,
What is this?
how
what
did this
happened?
happen? And I
Okay.
remember like my coming back, and my mom was like, you see,
Yeah.
that's what I'm telling you. You cannot do that, because I was saying, like, my thought was, I think I could have achieved way more.
Okay.
I think if I go back
Be
with
more-
the mindset that I have now,
Okay.
I would be, I would achieve way more for
Okay.
sure.
Awesome.
I'm actually quite happy with everything that I achieved
Okay.
as a model.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I think I would have achieved way more.
Well, you're still here. You're still gorgeous,
Yeah.
and you can still, if you want. Or what happened? You don't.
I don't.
I know you have the second career now.
Yeah.
We're running out of time, but yeah.
I think I chose to stop.
Okay.
I chose to
Okay.
stop. I
Okay.
was not happy anymore.
Okay.
And I think also for me to continue, I could continue.
Yeah, of course.
A few
Of
years
course you
ago,
can.
when
Yeah.
I made the decision of stopping, I
Okay.
could continue, but my life would be completely different than
Okay.
it is now.
Sure.
I
sure.
would probably not be married.
Okay.
I would be in another country,
Okay.
maybe living or maybe going every 6 months to a new country.
That's tough,
Because that's
yeah.
what made me stop as well. I was
Okay.
not happy modeling anymore. I was happy with a few jobs, but not the whole thing.
Okay.
Casting and everything, I
Okay.
wasn't. And also I understood that, okay, Taiwan is not a big market for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
If I was in China, okay,
Okay.
that's way bigger.
Yeah.
You can be there for like 15 years and be working every day. But
Okay.
Taiwan is completely different. So I knew that I would have to choose something completely different than what I was living.
Okay.
And I was not okay with that. I was like, I'm not gonna give out this part of my life, which is basically my relationship,
Yeah.
you
That's-
know,
Yeah.
for
Not worth
something
it.
that I'm not even sure. Maybe I go out there and after 2 months, I'm like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
Because I was already not happy
Yeah,
with it,
yeah.
you know.
Okay. Cool. So you have to think twice if your child wants to be model, and
Yeah.
what about if the shoes on the other foot, if your child wants to be fighter? Because I mean, for those that don't know, Mario's a fighter.
Yeah.
All right. So coming from you, what do you think?
I think it would be easier. It
what
would
what
be
if you
easier
have like
for
a
me.
beautiful little girl who's like just gorgeous, and she wants to be a fighter?
I think it would be easier.
It's okay. It's easier for you.
I think it
Okay.
would be easier.
Okay.
I think
okay.
it's easier to be there, to be closer, and to try to protect
Yeah.
that child when they're an athlete
Okay.
than when they're modeling travel everywhere.
Yeah, that's
traveling
true.
everywhere.
That's true.
I think what bothers me a little bit, it's like you're going to another country. I don't know
Yeah.
what are the people
course.
that are around you
Yeah.
are gonna do to you, or like what you're gonna choose, because you never know.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
I'm not even saying that the child is gonna choose something wrong.
Yeah.
But you don't know what are the people
cannot-
around her doing. So
Cannot control the people around,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Cool. I think I wanted to talk about the school stuff too, but I
Yeah.
think we're getting low on time.
Yeah.
We can do another one in the future.
Sure,
We'll do it like
yeah.
another topic.
I think I would talk
Yeah,
way
yeah.
too much.
No, it's good. It's great. It's great. Like we were saying earlier, it's better when the guest talks, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes one word answers, you're just like, oh my gosh, yeah. But one more question. Do you have any advice for any little girls that are thinking, hey, I want to do modeling. I want to be a model.
I think first of all, they should choose what kind of model they want to be.
Okay.
If they want to be fashion or if they want to be commercial, that's a big step.
Okay.
That's a big step.
Okay.
And second, find agencies that take you serious.
Okay.
Find agencies that they're not going to be perfect because no one is.
No one's perfect,
You know,
okay.
but try to find agencies that will put you in good situations.
Okay.
And also always be, aware of what's happening to you. If you are uncomfortable, you shouldn't be,
Okay.
going through. And also don't think it's a glamorous life,
Okay. Yeah.
because
yeah.
there is a lot of glamour.
Okay.
But, because I think a lot of girls think, okay, I'm going to model for 2-3 years and then I'm going to be on a Vogue cover.
Yeah. Not possible. Well, it's possible,
Maybe
but it's
it
tough.
will happen,
Not so
but
easy.
you look at Giselle's
Okay.
history, you look
Yeah.
at Naomi, they're not gonna, from nothing to Vogue cover, so, but if you really want that, you have to be sure and you have to be focused. I
Okay.
think the main thing is you have to be focused on what you want, and also study, because people think that modeling, they don't study. But
Okay.
I mean, like, study for the job.
Okay.
What can you do to be better? What can I add to my comp card, for example? Because the
Okay.
comp card is where we put the pictures.
Okay.
And sometimes you are not getting jobs because your pictures are not good.
Okay. Yeah.
They look at you, they're like, oh, I like this girl, but then they look at the pictures, I don't like the pictures.
Okay. Wow.
So I don't know what's the result, So you have to also try to...
It's like branding yourself,
Yeah,
right?
brand yourself.
Okay.
And also, like, try to get people that maybe can put you in good situations. Like,
Okay.
there is a photographer that knows a good brand that maybe he can help me. Always try to get more, like, people around you that can help you with that. But I think the main thing is focus, and also, like, study and pay attention to your choices as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, that was a great chat, and
Yeah.
you have an awesome story, and looking forward to the next chapter.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank
And
you
we'll
for inviting me.
We can do it again sometime. I'd
Sure.
love it. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Do you have anything you want to add before we call it?
I think just maybe if they want to subscribe to my channel.
Yes, for
We
sure.
just,
Yes, yes.
I have been for like a few months.
Please tell me about that.
Actually,
Yeah.
my goal is to attract Brazilian people to learn English.
Yes.
But I
Let's
also,
talk about that. It's okay.
yeah.
Let's talk about that a bit.
But I also I'm also teaching Portuguese to a Taiwanese student now.
Nice.
So, but my main focus is teaching English, and we
Okay.
have been creating content
Okay.
weekly. We have videos
Beautiful.
weekly, shorts, and the Instagram too. And I think I want to teach the way that I learned.
Okay.
Which is not like a workbook. Every day you're
Oh,
gonna
it's the
write
worst.
this, and
Yeah,
and
yeah.
read I don't know how many stories and not even understand the whole thing.
Yeah.
I learned through talking.
I think that's the best way to learn any language.
Yeah.
Because I also learned my Chinese through talking. My Spanish also, like my just talking with mom.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will ask me some grammar rules or something
Yeah.
for Spanish. I have no idea. Even for
Yeah.
English, certain like rules.
Yeah,
I have no
'cause,
idea.
you
Just talk.
grow up
Yeah.
with two languages.
Just talk.
Yeah. you grew up with
Yeah,
two
with two. Yeah,
languages
yeah,
too,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
So sometimes, for a few years, the focus is Portuguese. Sometimes for a few years, the focus is English.
Yeah.
And you're like in
Yeah.
between two languages,
Yeah.
and it's hard sometimes. Like, for
Yeah.
example, for now, my Portuguese is horrible.
My Spanish, oh, man, it's so embarrassing.
Sometimes I
It's
look at Mario
embarrassing.
like, help me.
Yes.
Like a simple vocabulary, but it's because I'm not used to
Yeah.
to speak Portuguese anymore.
Yeah.
So, of course, when I, put my mind like, okay, let's think in Portuguese. But that's one of the
Yeah.
biggest reasons people don't learn a new language. They think they need to translate everything. You cannot translate.
Yeah.
Stop. Learn a language by itself.
Translation computer, that doesn't work.
Learn a language
Okay.
by itself. Of course, at the beginning, you're gonna need to learn to translate a few things
Yeah.
for you to have a basic.
Yeah.
But after that, you're like, learn the language by itself. because you're not going to use that expression exactly translated to that. A
Yeah.
lot of people try to translate expressions to English or
Oh.
you know, English to Portuguese, and it sounds horrible. No
Yeah.
one understands.
Yeah.
So you should know that you have to learn, of course, the basics. You have to translate and everything, but
Yeah.
after you know at least like, I don't know,
Some-
30%,
Okay.
go into talking,
Okay.
go into conversations.
Well, maybe next time we'll do another one,
Yeah.
right? And we'll talk about we can talk about this stuff,
Sure.
and it'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you for
Thank
coming.
you.
And we will see you on the next one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much.
See ya.
Yeah. So now we can hug because
Yeah.
because I'm like, what are we doing? Okay. Thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
See you.
Thank you everybody for watching Eddie's show. We feel only happiness, don't feel any sorrow. Welcome everybody to watch more on his contact. Eddie Life